Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Royals' magic number remains 3. As the Mariners came to town last night, they took game 1. They hit 5 home runs and won 11-2. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Sudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And before we get to the Royals and the Mariners, most of the discussion on the field today was about the passing of Yogi Berra. Not just a baseball icon, but an American icon. Tremendous on-the-field accomplishments, and HUD, you got to know him, and it seems like whenever Yogi Berra's name comes up, it's the personality that comes first.
There's no doubt about it. Yogi is an American icon, a hero, served in the war, all the great things that we know about him, especially on a day like this, to reflect and look back. But I got to play for him. He was my first manager in the majors. Great to see him behind the scenes. Same guy that's in front of the camera. And you know what? To speak for the rest of us guys who try to do that for a living, I couldn't hit and think either. So Yogi, very special human being, and a great day to lift him up.
Yeah, one of a kind. There will never be another Yogi Berra. And I'm sure Salvador Perez would be embarrassed if we tried to make some sort of comparison. But there is something about a catcher, you know, and even in the movies, from the Bad News Bears to Major League to Bull Durham, the catcher always seems to have a big role, and there's something about a catcher with a personality, isn't there?
Yogi would be proud to know Salvador Perez. I wish Salvi could have introduced him before he passed. He'd be so proud, not only with his power, but with his smile, his energy. Look at the childlike mentality he has in that clubhouse, and believe me, that's one of the reasons why he's a leader. 3-time Gold Glover, 3-time All-Star. Yogi'd be proud of him.
For years at Yankee Stadium during the Old Timers game, one player would get the distinction, the greatest living ball player. Well, they've got to find somebody new, because Yogi Berra is gone. He was 90 years old.
Throw. Ennis Elias against the Royals had 3 perfect innings to start the game, and then they ambushed him in the 4th, got him for 7 runs. His final line was 3 2/3, 5 hits, 7 earned runs in 3 career starts against the Royals. He has an ERA over 6. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. On the other side, Yordan Ventura has never beat the Mariners in 3 starts, but he's had no run support. His ERA is at 2.84. Now, more recently, he hasn't been able to get deep into games, going less than 6 innings in 3 straight. So as we see Monty in our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard, Yordan Ventura, and going forward here tonight, we know how good he's been with the curveball. How does that help him, or how does he get to that?
Well, I think he's got to use his fastball, especially using his fastball in. He's got a great fastball. I think he got away from using that fastball in when he had all those issues early in the season. Lately, however, he's used that great fastball, particularly on the inside part of the plate, to set up a lot of strikeouts with his curveball. So his strikeouts have been there with the curve, but the fastball is the key to setting it up.
And what about the efficiency?
Yeah, would love to see him get deeper into games, pitch to contact a little bit more frequently.
It is Yordan Ventura and the Royals set to take on the Mariners. First pitch is coming up next.
Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. Lloyd McClendon and his lineup. The Mariners have the best record in the American League in September. They are 13-6. Only the Cubs in the major leagues have played better than Seattle in the season's full final month. And last night, the Mariners hit 5 home runs, and they scored 11 runs in the first 4 innings to take Game 1 11-2. And now tonight, facing Yordan Ventura, Kia puts us in the driver's seat. Ventura never actually reported to Omaha, but technically he was optioned. And before he got there, Jason Vargas was out for the year with Tommy John surgery. And since then, Yordan Ventura has gone 8-1. The Royals are 9-2, and his ERA is under 3.5.
Well, the big key for Ventura tonight is going to be to harness that emotion, that competitiveness. Last time out against Cleveland, he was a little bit on the emotional side. It's because he was trying so hard to get his team out of the funk. So Dave Island told him today, look, just do what you can do. Stay within yourself. You'll be all right with those great pitches.
Royals defense presented by Ford.
Haas. Are you kidding? Man, Ned Yost can't go a game without him playing out there at first base. He's so good for the rest of the infielders. Not only what he does for the team, but what this guy does to save errors and save runs for guys like that is really important.
Seattle hit 2 home runs, 2 of their 5 home runs in the first inning, but the game began with Jeremy Guthrie striking out rookie Ketel Marte, and good pitch by Ventura. Fastball at 96 at the knees. Marte did go on to triple, single, and reach with a walk. He has a 9-game hitting streak, and he's down in the count 0-2.
Yep. Cheese at the knees. That's what the Mariners are going to be seeing now. They may have hit 5 home runs last night, but I don't like their chances to do that again tonight. Ventura has been really good keeping underneath the bats, those power bats. Uses the fastball to set up that lethal hook. And there it is. He likes to get a lot of strikeouts with that pitch, and he's got an excellent changeup that he uses along with him.
And he extends his hitting streak. Down in the count 1-2. He goes the other way with a breaking ball. And the Mariners begin the night with a speedy base runner.
Fastball dominant. I heard Monty use the word great several times when he talked about his fastball, and it is. Even though they're hitting 302 off of it, it's a power pitch that can blow by guys in the strike zone. Curve changeup. Very few cutters. He doesn't really need it. He's got 3 excellent pitches. A little bit surprised he didn't go back to that fastball against Marte. That's a pitch that he needs to continue to trust. He got away from it a little bit in his last outing. Needs to stay with that 98. That's great.
Kyle Seager homered in the first inning last night. Able to lay off that breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marte has 7 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 4 times, but this is a deadly combination for a base stealer. Ventura is extremely quick to the plate, and we know what Salvador Perez can do once he has the ball in his hand. In fact, there are times the Royals are concerned that Yordano Ventura is too quick to the plate.
I don't think he's going to worry too much about Marte. You want to show him that move, but really that hitter is the one you really got to keep your focus on. Seager 0 for 4 in his career off of Ventura.
Long run in for Alex Gordon. He is there. And Seager is out number 1. And now Ventura gets Nelson Cruz, who has 42 home runs this year, and he did not hit one of the 5 last night. Seager and Cano homered in the first. Cano and Miller homered in the third, and then Montero homered in the fourth. A little bit below the knees. 1 ball and no strikes. Only Cruz's former teammate Chris Davis has more home runs in the American League. Mike Trout has reached 40 for the first time in his career. And that pitch just missed. 2 balls and no strikes. Last night the strike zone was liberal to say the least.
Well,
and there's 2 right on the edge.
Well, those pitches, that's exactly where Ventura wants to stay. Can't worry about Rob Drake. That's it. Just stay right there. They'll swing at him eventually. Cruz has power to all fields. He's 1 for 6 in his career off Ventura, and that one was a homer. He likes to pull the ball, and he'll go opposite field, but here at the K, it's quite a stretch to go oppo.
Interesting. I like to see where that was on the grid.
Those are all of them. He should be out by now. I mean, he should be back to the dugout. But that's a strike. Where was the first 2 pitches?
Full count with Cano on deck. Cruz has struck out 146 times, so Marte is not running, and the play is to first. Cruz is out. Marte goes to second, 2 down. And now Robinson Cano, and he's still hearing the boos at Kauffman Stadium.
We talked a little bit about that last night. I've never seen anything like it. In 2012, when the All-Star game was here, the home run derby, everything would have been fine had he just said, hey, Billy Butler, will you join us in the home run hitting derby? That's all he had to do, was just invite Billy, and would have never had a problem. And he even said before, a week before, anybody on the Royals that was eligible, he would take them.
Right. That was the part that frustrated Royals fans. That he himself put him in the situation to get the reaction that he did. And instead we got Mark Trumbo. Now, nothing against Mark Trumbo. And yeah, he hit one off the Hall of Fame in the home run derby. But he was with the Angels. So Orange County and Trumbo's parents were excited he was in the home run derby, but that was it.
Yeah. Well, Cano didn't hit one over the fence. And he's the only guy I've seen foul balls back into the stands, even trying to give the Royals fans some souvenirs.
It's one thing to win the home run derby as an individual, but to put your team together so that the team wins the home run derby, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that and a quarter is going to get you a gumball.
Well, he's past it now, but obviously there's a few Royals fans that still remember. 1 for 4 he is off of Ventura.
He looked good last night. He hit 2 home runs, and he has had an outstanding second half. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Had a so-so year for the Mariners last year, and a lot of people said, well, big contract, big expectations, they'll give him a pass on that. And then most of the first half of the season he was even worse than last year, but now resembling the player with the Yankees that earned him that mega deal with the Mariners. 2-2. Struck him out. Got him with a changeup away. Fans love it. Ventura has a scoreless top of the first inning.
And under 20 pitches.
Lost. Minnesota won last night. Minnesota, by the way, is at home against Corey Kluber and the Indians. Phil Hughes will pitch for the Twins. Same batting order tonight. Royals scored 2 runs, 7 hits against the Mariners. No runs, 3 hits in 7 innings against Hisashi Iwakuma. He was tough. And tonight the Royals will see a lefty. It is 27-year-old Roenis Elias. His last appearance, sorry Hud, was a relief appearance on Friday. He's had 2 relief appearances, but 17 starts. And the Royals have already beaten him once this year.
Hey, he's not an overpowering fastball guy, but he'll go 90 to 94 miles an hour. You know, he might top out at that, but he's going to work that changeup in. He's got an excellent change and a big curve. 3-pitch guy.
One and one to Alex. Alex was 5 for 9 immediately coming back from the disabled list. It looked like he didn't miss a day. But now 0 for his last 18.
Yep. He's scuffling a little. It's pitches like that he wants to take advantage of.
Thought about it. Checked in time. Bill Miller is the third base umpire and crew chief. 2-2.
Okay, Elias doesn't have a lot of deception. Okay, he doesn't have any pauses in his delivery, no fancy leg kicks or anything. He just says it, here it is. Going to use a lot of change-ups and curves. The Royals really have to be patient tonight. Talked about patience last night against Iwakuma in that split finger, but he was throwing everything for strikes. So it's hard to be patient off of that guy. He's, by the way, going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and wouldn't he look good in royal blue? Don't want to drop any hints to anybody, but he's tough. Ooh, man.
That may have been ball 4.
Well, that's the one thing that's out. It's going to help Alex. It's helped almost every hitter in the Royals lineup. You see that almost sidearm fastball, deceptive. It's to take your walks. Get those walks, see more pitches, get comfortable. And that fastball at that level shocked him. That's why he didn't get a good swing on it. He wouldn't have hit it if he had to put a good swing on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's something he can take back to the dugout. I mean, if he's putting a swing like that on a pitch down the middle, that's one thing. That pitch wasn't even a strike. Ball 1 to Ben Zobrist. Zobrist walked in the first inning last night. Otherwise 0 for 2. Ned Yost took a lot of the regulars out beginning in the middle innings. And by the end of the game, only Alex Rios and Alcides Escobar were the only starters still in there. Ned Yost, as he put it today, there's no reason to risk a player getting hurt in a game like that. 2-1.
Royals faced Elias back in June 24th in Seattle. Only went 3 2/3 innings, and in that start he threw 67% fastballs, and the Royals love fastballs, and they raked him. Now, after a few months, he's throwing 46% fastballs. So he's mainly going with his breaking stuff now, and that's exactly what he wants to do tonight. And so far, he's mixing them all up.
That's a fair ball. Zobrist rounds first and is at second base with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning.
Third double, he'll take it. An off-speed changeup that laid out over the middle of the plate. Yeah, you like those. Your weight's coming forward a little bit, but your hands stay back, and then they fire. Good spot right by Seager.
And here are the Mariners defensively tonight. We told you last night they have not had a good year defensively. They are second from the bottom in defensive runs saved at -48. The Royals, by comparison, are +54. You're talking about the difference of over 100 runs.
And then you look at the standings and you can really tell the difference. Saving those runs is really important, and they play in a big ballpark at Safeco Field up in Seattle.
Kane to right field, and Seth Smith. Zobrist tags on, and the ball hits second base. I think Zobrist would have been safe anyway. And fortunately for the Mariners, that ball hit the base and shot straight up instead of ricocheting out into left field. And if that had happened, the Royals may have a run.
Yeah, they had hit that far right corner there. You're right. If it hits the other corner, they'd have scored it. I never know about the bounces in baseball. What you're going to get night to night, day to day, whatever's going to happen. You try to make it happen, though. Hosmer here, 2 for 8 in his career, a .301 hitter with a runner in scoring position.
Big swing against Elias. Hosmer had a chance to drive in a run in the first inning against Iwakuma last night. Batting with runners at first and third and 1 out. Iwakuma made a great pitch, and Hosmer had a little check swing line out, and that was really the only legitimate scoring chance the Royals had against Iwakuma. And now he chops it to the right side. Cano with his glove scoops to Trumbo, and that's the inning. So Zobrist has left at third base, no score at the end of 1. Come up. Let's check in with our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. Zach Greinke was scratched from tonight's start. He has calf soreness. The Dodgers expect him to make his next start. A 1.65 ERA. Joe Lavero, our lovable producer, is a Philadelphia native, and he thinks the Giants are still in it with 6 games. A 6-game deficit, 12 games to go. The two teams have 4 head-to-head games. But being a Philly native, that 1964 Phillies team, which always seems to come up when a team with a big lead begins to collapse toward the end of the year. The 64 Phillies had a 6.5 game lead with 12 to go.
Yep.
So he's thinking, if the Phillies blew it with a 6.5 game lead, that the Dodgers can blow it with a 6-game lead.
Yep. You know, the fighting Phils, you know, they have a long track record, but I really believe that Lavero has a man crush on Baumgartner. That's what it is.
Why would you do that to our guy?
No. I think he just wants to see the Royals beat Bumgarner.
If he has a man crush on Bumgarner, why would he want to see the Royals beat Bumgarner?
Well, because he just wants to that setting we had last year. It's pretty impressive. How about that pitch?
Smooth segue there, Hud.
Well, yeah. Everyone has their ideas, and you know what? In baseball, you never know what's going to happen. Good curve. You never know. Anything can happen.
And now Seth Smith, the Mariners' right fielder. Ventura threw 19 pitches in the first inning, which isn't great, and yet at the same time, the Royals during their slide, they've lost 12 of their last 17. One thing that's really dogged this starting rotation over that stretch, long first innings, going over 20 pitches and about half the time allowing runs. Ventura got around a leadoff single from Ketel Marte.
That was on a breaking ball.
Smith unable to extend his arms, and Alex runs it down in left field. 2 away. If you want to ensure postseason tickets to the American League Divisional Series here at Kauffman Stadium, placing a 2016 season ticket deposit will guarantee the right to purchase tickets to every potential ALDS game here at Kauffman Stadium. It's the final opportunity for fans that are not currently season ticket members. Line to right, and that's caught by Rios. A 9-pitch 1-2-3 second inning for Yordano Ventura. Toyota League leaders for tonight. It doesn't take much. If the Royals score 3 or more runs, they have the second best winning percentage in the major leagues, best in the American League. Only the Pirates have done better. Kendrys Morales with 105 runs driven in, 3 shy of his career high from 2009.
Man, look at the Blue Jays. They got 3 guys with over 100.
Speaking of, no score in the top of the 5th inning, the Yankees and the Blue Jays. 2-0 from Elias to Morales. 2 Cubans. Elias defected to Mexico, so he was technically signed as a free agent out of Mexico by the Mariners. 2 balls and 1 strike. Born in Guantanamo, Cuba. Defected to Mexico in October of 2010 after a 30-hour boat ride.
Wow, and I bet that wasn't on a yacht or any kind of a nice cruise ship.
Leadoff walk.
There you go. Wait him out. Be patient. Talked about how this young man's not throwing as many fastballs. He's mixing them up. He's only throwing 46% fastballs. So the remedy for that, opposite field. Think, wait longer, go with the pitch. Try not to pull him. Now they're playing Moustakas. Just like every team should be playing him now. Straight up. Although you can't defend a home run ball, Moose has got one against Elias.
And it's the only home run that Elias has allowed to a left-hand batter all year. You talked about Elias's loss to the Royals, and that was quite a game. Dave Holtzman looked it up for me. I remember thinking he was $1 million early in the game, and sure enough, he had 3 perfect innings to begin that game. Elias did, and then the Royals scored 7 in the 4th inning. Moustakas hit a home run in that 7-run inning. And so 3 perfect innings, and then not even able to get out of the 4th inning. Shot to right field. Morales will stop at second base. He may not be getting as many hits as he did in the first half to all fields, but he is hitting the ball so much harder now than he did in the first half of the season.
One of the reasons, Ryan, is he's so relaxed. He's just very relaxed up there. He's competing, looking for his pitch. Before the pitcher even delivers the ball, his hand is moving. His top hand is so loose and so relaxed, and that really helps your reaction time when you can be that relaxed. Doesn't worry about his mechanics. He's just seeing it and trying to hit it. Good stroke.
2 on, nobody out to Salvador Perez. Career high 20 home runs. His next home run will be a Royals record for a catcher. Fastball away, may have been out of the strike zone. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's that 2-seamer sidearm that had a little bit of run away from the plate. Salvi swung at it like it was a breaking ball. Tells me he was looking maybe off speed.
Morales is at second. He walked. Moustakas is at first. He singled. Did he go? Yes. Pat Hoberg is the first base umpire. Elias really could use a strikeout there, and he got it. 1 down.
Yep. So tough to stop that swing once you get it going.
Well, who would have imagined this a month ago? Here's the Royals' hottest hitter, Alex Rios. He has an 11-game hitting streak that ties for the longest current hitting streak in the major leagues, and he extended it late last night in his 4th and final at bat with a double.
And he barreled it. I mean, he hit at the base of the 4th 10 wall out there, dead center field. got extended. He's going to the opposite field more, and that's one of the reasons why he's able to keep the streak alive. He's not just trying to pull everything like he did for a month.
So 11 straight in his last 20 games. He's hit .390 and has added 35 points to his batting average. Oh, and 2. Nice crowd tonight. Similar to last night's crowd on a school night. 29,000 for game 1 between the Royals and the Mariners. My, how times have changed, where 29,000 at Kauffman Stadium has the feeling of a smaller crowd.
How about it? They're enthusiastic, though. They're trying to get up right here. Barrios here to knock in that run.
Ooh, got the call. And he didn't even hit his spot.
Oh, man. That ball, it hung up there, but it didn't look like it was able to be a strike, but it caught the corner. Too close.
Supre, the catcher, wanted them down and in.
Yeah, but still, you know, if you react to that at the last minute and slap that ball to right field, you're not going to run. With 2 strikes on you, you just got to expand the zone a little bit. Take a chance swinging it.
Well, we talked last night that if there was a positive to take away from the game, it was Alcides Escobar. And even Ned Yost brought that up after the game. Escobar had 3 hits. 2 of the hits were to center field. Good to see him using the middle of the field and the opposite field. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's a little 95. Escobar's 3 for 5 with 1 home run against Elias.
And that was a grand slam.
How about it?
Big difference between the 2 teams. Situations like this one right here. Boy, he's not giving the Royals anything good to hit since the Moustakas single. A walk and a single to put 2 on and nobody out. Salvador Perez struck out. Alex Rios struck out. And now it's 1 and 2 on Escobar. Got him to pop it up. So a promising start with 2 on, nobody out. And then Elias gets 2 strikeouts and a pop up.
Yankees catcher Yogi Berra. He passed away last night. 18 All-Stars, and all the footage we're going to see from those great Yankees teams, and so many incredible numbers with Yogi, including 75 World Series games. But in a way, it began here in Kansas City, guys, because his first training camp experience was with the 1943 Kansas City Blues in Excelsior Springs. And I found out that his roommate at the Elms Hotel was future Kansas City Star sports writer Sid Boardman, who was, let's see, Giordano make that play. Sid Boardman was the Blues bat boy at that point and was a roommate of Yogi's. For the 1943 season, Yogi was assigned to the Norfolk Tars of the Class B Piedmont League. And if you've heard any of the stories about Yogi once having 23 runs, RBIs in a doubleheader, it was there. And he was placed on the roster of the Kansas City Blues of the American Association for 1944 and 45, but he never wore the uniform because instead he had gone off into the Navy in the Atlantic Theater of World War II, and he was in World War II in the Navy. When he came back, he was assigned with the Yankees to their International League team in Newark, and then made his big league debut in September of 1946. So he did actually have some history in Kansas City, but never played for the Blues. He also, in 1960, was the starting catcher for the American League All-Star team at Municipal Stadium.
2 ground outs for Giordano Ventura against Miller and Sucre. And now the top of the order, and Ketel Marte. I didn't realize it until you talked about it at the top of the broadcast. He was your first major league manager.
Yeah, it was quite a thrill for me. You know, of course, you don't have any control being a player, getting called up or not, but the timing was great as I was able to get with him, and you know, didn't make the team out of camp in '84, but in '85, was there towards the end. But they had fired Yogi after 2 weeks of the '85 season and brought on Billy Martin, and man, I had never experienced an upheaval in the locker room that I experienced there. Just being a fly on the wall, believe it or not, being a young player. I didn't talk much, you can believe that or not, but I just was all eyes and ears. But the players, the veterans on the team, were so angry with Steinbrenner that they would bring Billy Martin back, and you know, of all people, firing Yogi, and they all loved Yogi, so they were really upset. They were talking bad. So when Billy came on, he had heard that they weren't real happy, so they brought on Willie Horton. Billy brought him on. He was a teammate with him with the Tigers. Willie Horton is this big, strong guy. He was supposed to protect Billy in the clubhouse.
Like a bodyguard?
Right. So,
really?
So Billy Martin hired, you know, it was just interesting to hear the veterans talk about Billy Martin the way they did, but they played for him.
Another base hit for Marte.
But you know, Willie Horton was a nice guy. You know, he was a sweetheart. He ended up being friends with everybody, but everywhere Billy went, Horton was right there next to him, on and off the field, to protect him.
Marte is 2 for 2. He extended his hitting streak to 11 games with a single in the first inning, and now Kyle Seager with 2 down. Ventura got him on a fly ball to left in the first inning. Out to Zobrist in shallow right field, and that is the inning. What a resume. 18 All-Stars, 3 MVPs, 10 World Series championships, and he had 4 seasons where he had more home runs than strikeouts.
It's incredible.
ballpark. Clifford served as a Morse code and radio code breaker for Russian transmissions in Korea during his time in the military. After returning to the United States, Clifford taught high school math, was a counselor and dean of boys at the local high school, where he was named the Educator of the Year by the school district in 1986. And sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game, Clifford Girard. By the way, Dave Holtzman corrected me during the break. Yogi Berra had 5 seasons with more home runs than he did strikeouts. He had another season where he had as many home runs as strikeouts. So really he had 6 seasons with as many or fewer strikeouts than he did home runs. Sucre will run out of room, and just one more note and then we'll put a lid on it. In 1950, Yogi Berra had 656 plate appearances. He struck out 12 times. 12 times in 656 plate appearances, and had 28 home runs.
It's amazing. He would have fit good on this 2015 Royals team. He doesn't walk either. He's a hacker.
It was a different time, boy. Strikeouts were a bad thing.
Right, there was pride on the line.
2-2 on Alex. He worked a full count against Elias in the first inning, and Elias struck him out on a pitch that was out of the strike zone. And again, a full count with Zobrist on deck, and then Lorenzo Cain.
Hey, he swung at ball 4 last time up.
Pulled to Trumbo. He'll go to the bag, and there is one out. Hope you'll be here on Friday. It's Futures Night. We'll welcome select Royals minor league players to Kauffman Stadium. The event will feature a pregame autograph session with your future Royals, open to all fans. Plus, enjoy the final Buck Night as the Cleveland Indians will be in town. $1 hot dogs and peanuts presented by Visit KC. And for tickets, visit Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS.
I look forward to that. It's nice to see those young players all dressed up in a suit, hanging out, checking out the big league life, seeing what it's going to be like for them, they hope.
One and one on Zobrist. He doubled up the left field line in the first inning, went to third on a flyout, and the Royals couldn't get him home. Two and one.
Zobrist doubled on his changeup last time up.
3-1. Ball 4. Number 2 allowed by Elias.
Did you notice how polite Zobrist was right there when he took that pitch? He took off and started running to first, but he stopped because he didn't yet hear Rob Drake's call. Most guys just take off going. Now he starts and he stops and he says, you know what? Thank you. Might be one of the politest baseball players there is in today's game.
There is no payoff to leaving early before you hear from the umpire, because if you're right, you gain nothing from it. But boy, you got a lot to lose if you have an umpire who's having a bad night and you go running up the line and he says strike rather than ball, and then you have to pick up your bat, go to the plate knowing that the strike zone just got a little bit bigger.
Right, and it's all about attitude there then. They're all human. They got them. Umpires get a little testy at times, but they're not going to get testy on Zobrist because they know he doesn't have a malicious bone in his body. Man, he's getting under that.
Kane is 0 for 2. And Zobrist is at first with 1 down. 2 down. Now they're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees and Blue Jays no score. Ivan Nova is holding down the Blue Jays so far. And Marcus Stroman, how about that for a shot in the arm for the Blue Jays? They thought he was done for the year when he blew out his knee in spring training, and now he's back. Popped up. Miller, the center fielder, will make the play. We've played 3, and there is no score. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. That's hashtag KCDataStrongFan. The scouts eat in the same dining room that we do here. And there are, if not 3 times the amount of scouts that are normally here, maybe 4 times.
Well, this young man, Mike Grouse, right here, he grew up in Raytown. And he was telling me, we were in Detroit, and I got to know him. Said his first job was right here at the K as an usher. Okay, grew up, this is his hometown team. Guess who he's spying for? The Texas Rangers. The Rangers have an idea that the Royals could be an opponent of theirs, so Mike, he is on the beat. And he is checking it out, and he's reporting back to the Rangers what he sees. But you know what? Deep down, I can tell you, he didn't tell me this, but I can tell you, he loves being here. He loves being at the K, especially your first job is right here in this ballpark.
Well, he's gone back to his roots. He has decided to scout now where he used to usher.
That's right.
Instead of in the seats behind home plate, you know, he goes to the spot where he's most comfortable.
Yeah. Way to go, Mike.
Cruz grounds out for a second time against Ventura. 1 down in the top of the 4th inning. The Mariners have 2 singles against Ventura in 3 1/3 innings. And both of those singles are from Ketel Marte. And there's some of the boos in the background.
Look at
for the next hitter.
That's an exclamation point by there. That's nice. Good to see. That's been a problem for Ventura at times in his starts. Heavy on the pitch count. Looking good so far. Getting some early count outs. And one of the reasons too is that the Mariners, they know all about that curveball and his changeup, so they're trying to hit the fastball. He usually comes in early with that.
And now it's 0-2 on Cano. He struck out swinging at a changeup in the first inning. Got him again, this time with a curve. 3 strikeouts for Ventura and 2 against Robinson Cano. That pitch didn't reach home plate. And the other strikeout was against Franklin Gutierrez, who steps in with 2 down. 99 with sinking action.
That's a great fastball, and it's hard to hit. How's that analysis right there for you?
To the point.
It's the truth, and it's hard to hit. You look for it because it's straight. Hitters like those because they don't have to worry about it breaking there here or there. And those other ones, you do your best to try to wait on a hanger, one that stays up, because it's easier to hit when it's up there. That pitch down there is really tough, and it comes out of that same arm slot as the fastball. It's what makes it so tricky.
Do you see that? He told Salvador Perez what he wanted to throw. And again, it's the pitch he started Gutierrez off with, a 99-mile-an-hour sinker.
Hitters lots of times look down at their feet. Okay, they look down. He sees the hitter not looking at it, so he can directly tell Salvi what he wants without having to shake him off. And when I would step out of the box, I would never take my eye off the pitcher, just so he couldn't do that. But sometimes you catch him talking to their catcher.
Another ground ball. And another scoreless inning for Ventura. 4 scoreless innings. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Chrysler. Celebrate 90 years of innovation and get a great deal at the Chrysler Anniversary Celebration events. That he has been for the Royals this year, Kendrys Morales, and he will lead off. 105 runs driven in, and it's the most RBIs for a designated hitter since 2010. Vladimir Guerrero had 106 for the Rangers in 2010, and Morales' next RBI will tie that.
Senior steak. Hitters call RBI steaks because it's ribeye.
Morales also led off the second inning and walked. Mike Moustakas is on deck. After him, Salvador Perez. Curveball line to right field, and it sinks in front of Smith. So Morales has been a table setter so far tonight, leading off both innings by reaching base.
All right, textbook on how you hit a hanging breaking ball from a lefty to the opposite field. A beautiful swing. Nice and easy. He recognized it. Watch him. He's going to step. Yeah, he steps with that foot, but he hesitates for a minute, lets the ball travel back here, and then he rakes it. And now you'd like to pull those hangers if they're on the middle and inside part of the plate, but if they're away like that, that's just how they teach it to hit it. Perfect.
Off speed and a strike to Mike Moustakas.
Watching Morales in batting practice today, didn't see him pull one ball. He hit everything to right and right center, just like he hit that one. He's a student of hitting. Continues to get better and better by studying and preparing.
1-1. Moustakas hit an absolute laser beam to right field for a single in the second inning. And a slider. Elias jumps ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I guarantee you, when Moose looked out there at the Seattle defense yesterday in last night's game, he saw him playing him straight up, and he liked that. And whenever he sees him pull, he goes, okay, all right, if you're going to pull me, play me to pull, all right, I'll hit it through you, or I'll go to the opposite field. But hitters like that. Really, it just gives you more lanes to hit it from. You know, you got all kinds of action for base hits here. Ooh. Like it got off the knob of his bat. But he didn't always like that pull shift. It bothered him. And that's why a lot of teams do it. They try to get in the mind of a hitter. And Moose was like, wow, okay, what am I going to do? And then he just kept trying to pull. And he saw his average the last couple of years that, you know, wasn't doing anything. So he went home and worked on it, and he's become a all-around good hitter now. Average-wise, power. That was a good little shot for left on a breaking ball. He's so much more relaxed. How about that? Still got a lot of hits to right, no question about it, but he's evened it out, and that's the reason his average is better. Ooh.
Fourth strikeout for Elias, and he got Moustakas on a pitch that did not even get to home plate. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House.
Look like some of the Royals are guessing now. They're guessing with him. That was Moose was guessing fastball all the way. Oh, nice.
Well hit to center field. Miller gets turned around. It is off the wall. Morales will be held at third. Perez is into second. And Morales had a chance to score as the ball was kicked around by the Mariners defense. And Perez gets a double, and the Royals have 2 in scoring position with 1 out.
Salvi guessed right. And when that ball was struck, there was no chance for Miller in center. You could just tell by the sound. He barreled that. I'm surprised it stayed in the ballpark. If he gets a little more height on it, it's out of here. Miller, all he could do was turn and run. And you know, Miller, think about it. This is just Miller's 13th start in center field. And so he's doing a good job of playing out there when he never played outfield ever in his entire amateur career or any of that. They just threw him out in center field, and he's doing a pretty good job for him.
Infield comes in halfway. The Royals are already 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. So they've had their chances in the first 2 innings. Rios had one of those chances, and Elias struck him out looking on a curveball. It was a borderline pitch.
See if Rios can go to the opposite field. Right idea.
Check his swing. He's our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
Man, anything's out over that plate now, he's red hot. He's going to hit it. And that's right, good swing. You see how he likes to pull a lot of the pitches. And that's one of the reasons why Rios, with runners in scoring position, he's only hitting 153. So in order to have a higher average with runners on, you got to go to the opposite field at times. That was a good pass there. Mike Moustakas, Salvador Perez, their average with runners in scoring position has greatly increased because of going to the opposite field. They'll take it no matter where it is right now. That's what they're missing, a big hit.
And now 2-2.
Players, they're drawn to Swaim. Swaim, he's a man's man. This guy, he doesn't say a lot, but look, when he speaks, they listen. Stay short to the ball, bow to it, and compete in your at-bats.
Sucre, that was an interesting reaction to Elias's last pitch. He was frustrated, upset with the location of that pitch. He was showing frustration. It's the pitcher showing frustration.
Elias, 64 pitches might be tiring a little.
Good foul off.
Yeah, and that was a good spot for that curve. Any hanger out over the plate is trouble for Elias. But that was a good job there. Anything close with runners in scoring position, you got to swing. He was out looking on a high hanging breaking ball in his last at bat with runners on. Don't want to do that here, so he fouled that tough pitch off there, hoping that Elias will give him another hanger.
In the air to left field. It gets Gutierrez to the track, and it gets a run home. Sac fly for Alex Rios, and the Royals lead 1-0.
Yeah, Elias went to that pitch one too many times off Rios, and he's lucky that wasn't a 3-run homer. Rios a little out in front of it, hits it off the end of the bat, but deep enough to get that run home. And that's a good spot to score Morales. Didn't want to make it close.
See that someone in the Royals bullpen thought it was a home run. Jumping off the bench, wanting to get a souvenir, and sheepishly hurried back to the bench. Two down. Perez is at second, and Alcides Escobar is at the plate.
Esky 281 with runners in scoring position, and he got a lot of those hits with runners out there earlier in the season when he was using the whole field.
Two and 0.
Edgar Martinez in his first season as a hitting coach. Him and Dale Swaim have similarities. They don't talk a lot. They just, whenever they talk, you listen. And the same approach he has that Dale has. Use the whole field.
3-0. Green light.
I just saw Escobar looking down at Jershely. Jersh usually has a sign they'll give for a swing away. I'm going to take the walk unless it's just a ball right down the middle. Let Alex take a shot at it.
Third walk from Elias. And this usually isn't very good when the manager makes the first trip to the mound. There is nobody warming up in the Mariners bullpen. And maybe Lloyd McClendon saw what I saw, and Sucre, as Elias was pitching to Rios, his body language, the catcher, you can just see his frustration with Elias's execution. So instead of a talk about approach and mechanics from the pitching coach, the manager comes out, and that's usually a verbal kick in the fanny.
That's right, and you know McClendon is not afraid to do that. He was a former catcher himself, and I like that. Watching Lloyd last year and this year, watching him, he'll go to the mound and have meetings. He likes to talk it out with his players. I like that. He's communicating with all of them.
The reason I asked about Escobar getting a green light, I mean, typically you wouldn't give him a green light in front of Alex Gordon, but Alex is now 0 for his last 20 and 10 strikeouts. So, and he's facing a pitcher who presents a tough angle for a left-hand batter. And outside ball 1 to Alex. Here's the pitch I was talking about. If you're a pitcher and you're looking for some encouragement from your catcher, that's not it.
No. And Elias held his glove out saying, give me the ball.
2-0 on Alex.
Alex, you know, he may be going through a little bit of a funk right now, but he's hit 282 on the season against lefties. A nice 2-out average with runners in scoring position.
And that's inside. So breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. And now Elias has missed with 7 straight. If Gordon gets on, Zobrist is on deck, and Zobrist has doubled and walked already against Elias. And Alex with the green light on 3-0.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. Let him swing. Boy, he just missed that.
Well, those numbers will say that he's not terribly vulnerable here, but the Royals remember the start back in June when Elias had 3 perfect innings. And then the Royals scored 7 in the 4th inning. They have 1 in the 4th inning here tonight, and 2 on, 2 out. And now the bases loaded, 2 out. Now maybe the question is, can the Mariners bullpen warm up quick enough? Sal at third, Escobar at second, Gordon at first, and Zobrist at the plate.
Well, wouldn't Zobrist like to see a hanger here? A nice hanging curve, make it 7 slams. Ventura's cruising. He needs a few more runs of support.
And a chopper out to short. Marte will flip to second, and out of all that, the Royals get 1. To the 5th inning, the Royals lead the Mariners 1-0.
Backing away.
Pittsburgh, down right behind home plate. Chance to visit with Royals Hall of Fame scout Art Stewart. Been with the club since '69, but from 1953 to 1969 with the Yankees, and a longtime friend of Yogi Berra's. And so I know it's a tough day, but one that so many people are celebrating a great life. And Art, you were telling me that you had a chance to hear from Art or from Yogi, or at least get a message from him last World Series.
Right, Joel. You know, we knew each other. We had a 62-year friendship. And when we were in Frisco last year at the World Series, I had this lovely young lady come up to me and introduced herself. And she says, "I'm Lindsay Berra, Yogi's granddaughter." And she said, "Yogi wanted to congratulate you, even though it's with the Royals now, not the Yankees, on being in a World Series and hoping that you win the World Series." And he also said, "Now, Art, don't forget, once a Yankee, always a Yankee." That was Yogi. And I gave her some nice things to say, you know, back as he was in the home and he didn't talk on the phone anymore. I hadn't talked or seen him in over 4 years. And after the World Series, on my email, I got a lovely note with him, and she did it, and a picture that she took of Yogi. So he was a very, very special friend, and we had a lot of great times together.
You first met him back in the 50s. What do you remember of Yogi? And you were around so many of those legends in the clubhouse. What was Yogi like in that clubhouse?
He was the guy that kept everybody loose. They all expected, whether it was Mantle, whether it was Whitey, whether it was Billy Martin, Gene Woodling, whoever, they all expected something funny from Yogi, and he always got it. He never disappointed them, and especially if the race was a little close, I was always with him in Chicago because I lived there at the time, and sometimes we'd only be 2 games ahead. Yogi get in there, and he would have that clubhouse. Everybody just forgetting about, hey, we got to win that, just being loose, and that was it. That's the way he was. He was also this is what people don't know. They think, well, he's a comic book guy and a funny guy, but he was one of the smartest catchers I ever saw. You talk about calling a game and knowing every hitter, and even when he managed. We have all this computer stuff today and everything, but he knew how to pitch every hitter, and he would tell the catchers. And he was really, aside being a great player, he was an astute baseball, student of the game, and smart behind that plate.
Well, he played in a lot of World Series, but there was one World Series moment that stands out among all of them, and you were there for it, one of the historic games involving Don Larsen. What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember sitting in, it was October 5th, 1956, and all the scouts were behind home plate, and what I'll never forget, of course, Dale Mitchell striking out the last pitch bait. Finelli rang him up, and then after the game, they're in the clubhouse, and they're all around Don Larsen, of course, and few came over to Yogi, and they said, Yogi, what? First thing they said, came over to Yogi, and he said, "What's new, fellas? Here it is after a perfect game." But he did tell me this. He said that last pitch that Babe Pinelli rang Dale Mitchell up on was 6 inches outside.
Well, he was honest about that, because he said forever, I know, that he thought that Jackie Robinson on the steal home was out. He always stood by that one. So maybe Don Larsen got a little bit of help. Yeah,
I saw that series, and it was tough, from where we sat, but it did look like he had got Jackie. But that bothered Yogi his whole life, because he was so sure he had him out.
Last thing, we heard Rex earlier and talking about Yogi being his first manager, and he couldn't believe that Yogi knew his name, but you were saying to me that was Yogi with everybody.
Oh, exactly, and he was smart, and you wouldn't know it because he was so funny all the time, but boy, he was a good baseball guy. And I'll tell you, the memories of him are just tremendous.
Well, Art, I feel guilty because I know that you don't miss a pitch, and we've now had you miss a few pitches to pass on so many great stories because you were around for so many of them. But we'll let you get back to scouting right here from your seat, and thank you so much for sharing the memories of the great Yogi Berra.
Well, my pleasure, Joel, and I'll tell Dave Island after the game why we have a blank in the fifth inning on the pitching chart.
That would be our fault, but it was worthwhile. The Hall of Famer, Royals Hall of Famer, Art Stewart, tells the stories as well as anyone. I know he's got a great picture with Yogi Berra in his book, so check that out. And guys, we'll let Art get back to work because he's enjoying this game right now by Yordano Ventura.
That's great. Well, you're right, Joel. I mean, we're talking about one of the greatest storytellers in baseball history in Yogi Berra. And Joel's talking to one of the greatest storytellers in Royals history, Art Stewart. And he sits behind home plate. There is the Buck O'Neill legacy seat. There's also the Art Stewart legacy seat. That's where Art sits for every home game. You can see the little radar gun right in front of him that's mounted on the concrete. And he keeps track of the pitches for every inning. And he was telling Joel that as Miller is safe at first base, telling Joel that he'll have to explain to Dave Island why he had a blank that inning. And look at Joel. Joel's got his tablet out, and they're going over the inning so that Art can catch up on what happened with Seth Smith and Mark Trumbo and Brad Miller as Art was spending time with Joel. That away, Joel. Make sure that Joel initials that scorecard.
Yeah, Ventura, he gets excited. He loves to feel his position. He missed the first time, and he went back to get it again and rushed the throw. And Hosmer did a great job of blocking that ball from going down the line. Trumbo might have scored. So another fine play by the Gold Glove first baseman Hosmer, keeping a double play in order.
Jesus Sucre with 2 on and 1 out. Ventura got him on a ground ball to Zobrist at second base in the 3rd inning.
That would work just fine here. Ventura's induced 9 ground ball double plays this year. And that's the pitch that can do it right there.
1-1.
Ventura's talking to Salvi. Does a lot of that when the hitter's not looking. We've already talked about that. How some pitchers are comfortable doing that.
Runners take off, and that was a good call by Lloyd McClendon. That could have been an inning double play. Trumbo to 3rd. Miller moves up to second base, and Sucre is the second out.
Yep, that's why managers will move those runners, not to steal the base, but to stay out of that double play.
And now Ventura will try and figure out Ketel Marte. He is 2 for 2 against Ventura. He is single to left field, and he is single to right field. Fastball at 97 was inside, I guess.
It's a good spot.
And now 2-0.
Ventura's got to execute his pitches to get out of this little jam he's in. Royals got him with 1 run.
Goes down and gets it. Marte is 3 for 3, and he gives Seattle the lead. And Marte is going to end up at third base. He will round third but hold. Well, it happens so often. A team is either scoreless in a run scoring opportunity, or they don't get as many as they felt like they should, and in the next half inning the opponent makes them pay for it.
Well, this is just a great swing. I mean, that ball is down. Nobody lifts that at 97. This kid's in fuego. He's hot, and on contact he knew there wasn't going to be anybody there, so he was going to go for 3 and then some. Now you watch. Well, I watched the relay throw from Rios to Zobrist, and what Zobrist did is exactly what they teach. When you catch that ball and you're in the outfield on a relay, you run the ball in. You take the ball and run it in. You don't stand there with it. You run it in, or you turn and throw it, but the best thing is to run it in. A lot of amateur ball players out there, when they catch this ball in the relay here, they'll just stand there and hold the ball. But look at Zobrist. He's going to take it and run it in and keep his eye on the runner. Plant his feet. If he has to throw home, he will, but it's a good play.
Creating a shorter throw with every step.
Exactly.
2-1 on Seager with Marte at third base, 2 down. 3 balls and 1 strike. And Nelson Cruz, with his 42 home runs, is on deck. Two on for Cruz. Here's Dave Island out of the Royals dugout.
Probably going to tell him just to hang in there, relax. You're not doing anything wrong. Guy hit a great pitch from you. You can't get rattled on that. Just stay right within yourself, and we'll get out of this inning. We'll get you some runs.
The most popular way to follow the Royals is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat brings you baseball wherever you are with live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, statcasts, live radio broadcasts, and more. Ball 1 to Cruz. He is grounded to short and grounded to second against Ventura.
Seager over there at first base talking with Haas. I could tell you Seager was talking about the impressive swing by the young Marte.
Two and 0.
97 on his shoe tops, and he barreled it. That's an excellent swing by Marte. He's hot.
The 1 hit for Cruz in 8 at-bats was a home run. Two and 2.
After that fastball there, he might have earned himself a curve. Let's see if he throws it. Ooh.
Well, with a fastball, and that ball was hit deep, foul, but plenty of distance. Salvador Perez had Ventura shake him off to try and fool Cruz, but what's the old saying? Don't try and fool a fastball hitter with a fastball.
Right.
And now 3 and 2 with Cano on deck.
So we just saved a run right there.
Seager runs again, and it's hit into left center field, and Seattle leads 3-1. That is the 89th run driven in for Nelson Cruz. And you can just feel the tension.
Changeup, up and right down the middle. And you see how Cruz shortened up his swing. He just wanted to pick up the RBI there.
Well, this could be the game right here. If Ventura gets Cano, the Royals are down by 2. Plenty of time to do something. But if Cano does what he's capable of doing, the way things have been going for the Royals lately, that would be a huge psychological hit. Especially coming off all the chances the Royals have had tonight. They had a 1-0 lead going into this inning, but they had left 7 on base, including the bases loaded in the 4th inning. And it just happens so often that when a big opportunity isn't cashed in, it always seems like the opponent makes that team pay. Throw to the plate, out.
Boy, that's some heady reaction there. Never expected him to go. And Salvi wasn't expecting it either. I hope it stands.
That ball was going to be a foul ball if Ventura did not field it. The Mariners got another look, and they are convinced that the call was correct.
Oh, that is a nice play to pick yourself up. He got him on the knee. Nice play.
For great deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Ketel Marte 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. And Seattle leads 3-1. Royals, they've had everything set up for a big inning against Roenis Elias in the first 4 innings, but they've scored 1 and they've stranded 7. 1-1 on Lorenzo Cain. He is flied to right and popped out to second base. Line to center field, and it stays up for Miller. One down in the bottom of the 5th.
Nice play by Miller, but I tell you, Ketel Marte is doing his best Francisco Lindor imitation against the Royals. Lindor for Cleveland, the young shortstop, wore him out. And this kid's doing the same thing. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. Out there, and that's the way a lot of these teams are that are not in the race. Sometimes they're able to elevate their game.
No swing. 1-1 to Hosmer. He is grounded out to second and flied out to center field.
Haas jumping out there a little bit tonight. So think opposite field, react in.
Hit well to Cano, who has incredibly soft hands. Made that play look a lot easier than it was. So 2 hot shots, but right into the Mariners defense. And Morales comes up with 2 outs and nobody on. Morales scored the Royals run in the 4th inning after leading off with a single. He came home on an Alex Rios sacrifice fly. Oh, 2. And you know, that inning gave Elias a lift. I'm sure he feels fortunate that he's only allowed 1 run, and now his team just gave him 3 runs in the lead, and he's pitching with more conviction, throwing strikes. 2 hard hit outs, but coming right at the Royals. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. That is a 10-pitch 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th inning.
Wow, he did exactly like he wanted to do. Keep that momentum on their side.
Did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Now with the StubHub app, you can select your teams and artists, discover new favorites, and grab tickets wherever you want. Get yours at the App Store today and get the StubHub app. Start at StubHub and let the fun find you. And let's welcome in Denny Matthews. And Denny was nice enough to come and join us as we've been talking a lot about Yogi Berra today.
Yep.
Joel spent a lot of time visiting with Art Stewart last inning, and Hud has been sharing some of his memories. Yogi Berra was his first manager in the Yankees organization. And
really? Yeah, quite an honor on my part.
I'll bet.
Heck, believe me, as he's told me before, I was one of the reasons he got fired.
What are your memories, Denny?
Oh boy, I met him years ago, my early years with the Royals, and in fact Buddy Blattner introduced me to Yogi, and I was stunned that he was such a small man, short. I mean, he didn't really look like a catcher, but boy, he could play. I'll tell you what, he could hit. A really, really good bad ball hitter, as they said in those days, and he could play the outfield. He was a darn good outfielder.
Really, I didn't know that.
Sure, yeah, he did indeed.
We were going over some of his numbers and how he was able to avoid strikeouts. He had one year where he had, what was it, 656 plate appearances and 12 strikeouts.
Yeah, and swinging a lot of pitches that you think, no, don't swing at that, but he'd make contact.
Probably didn't walk a lot either.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we were saying he'd fit good in a Royals uniform, wouldn't he?
Mm.
And he didn't walk either. 8,359 plate appearances, 704 walks is all.
Yeah, he was in left field when Bill Mazeroski hit that memorable World Series winning home run in 1960.
Moustakas takes care of Gutierrez. And Denny, like a lot of other visitors to Kansas City, Yogi Berra liked to come here to eat.
Didn't he, though? Yeah, he was legendary at Stroud's, and he loved Stroud's. He'd go there twice if they were in town for 3 games. But he'd always start out his trip to Stroud's after a game. Around 10:30, they'd go down to Stroud's, 5 or 6 of the Yankees, coaches, manager. And Yogi would always start in the press room here at the ballpark with a hot dog. That was his starter before going to Stroud's.
Just to get the boiler warmed
just
up,
to get it go, just to get things going. You know, he and Dick Hauser, former Royals manager, roomed together when both were coaches with the Yankees. And one time I asked Dick, I said, does Yogi really say those things that people say that he does and the writers write? And I said, do the writers in New York make up the quotes for Yogi? And Dick Hauser said, absolutely not. Yogi said those things time after time. And they roomed together. And they had their own condo during spring training down in Florida. So Dick saw a lot of Yogi not only on the field but off the field. They were obviously very good friends. And when Dick Hauser got the manager's job with the Royals, the Yankees came over to Fort Myers, and Yogi came out of the clubhouse, and Hauser was at the batting cage, and hey, Yogi, how's it going over there? And Yogi said, oh, pretty good, Dick. It's I still got that condo we had. And he said, you know what I got this spring? I got that cable TV. And Dick said, wow, you do? Yeah.
Cable.
Paul Escobar for the second out. And Yogi was just thrilled with this cable TV thing. And he said, boy, I can watch anything I want at night. I can see sports and I can see movies. And he said, you know, I was watching a Steve McQueen movie last night. It was really a good one. He was on a motorcycle, and the motorcycle, he was jumping over fences. And Dick said, yeah, that was a good movie. I remember that. And Yogi said, you know what? Steve McQueen must have made that movie before he died. And Dick Hauser said, yeah, I'll bet he did, just a hunch. But he said, Yogi would come up with stuff like that all the time. And I guess it's pretty timely, but with the Pope in New York, Yogi and his wife Carmen had an audience with the Pope in the off season. He was still a player. And when he was introduced to the Pope, I think it was Pope John at the time, somebody asked, well, what'd you say to the Pope? And Yogi said, hi, Pope. That was it. What else would you say?
I could almost hear his voice saying that too. But then again, what do you say when you see the Pope?
Oh, exactly. Right. Hi, Pope. That's what he is. That's what they call him.
Was it Toot Shores Restaurant in New York? The famous restaurant, was that the name of it? The one where he had the famous line, it's so crowded that nobody goes there anymore?
Exactly, yeah. Famous steak place in New York City, yep.
2-2 on Mark Trumbo. Yordano Ventura had a 37-pitch 5th inning as the Mariners scored 2 and got all 3 of those runs, or scored 3 rather, and got all of those runs with 2 outs. So he's up over 100 pitches, trying to get through 6 with Morales warming up, and a little tapper foul. Did you remember, Denny, that the 1980 team, and we're looking for reasons to get past this Royals slide here, some reasons for inspiration, but did you remember the 1980 team lost 8 in a row at the near the end of the regular season?
Yeah. Yeah, they did, and very similar to this in a way. Not a great September, but the Royals had so much padding with their lead. Nice play Hosmer there. So, yeah, I can see similarities, definitely.
Nice bounce back inning. 3 up, 3 down with 3 ground outs. And now word with home plate umpire Rob Drake. Royals are down 3-1. Minneapolis. This is Eduardo Escobar against Corey Kluber, and he's going to drive in 2 runs to give Minnesota a 4-0 lead. And Minnesota's batting in the bottom of the 5th with the bases loaded and 1 out. Also, Toronto is about to close out the Yankees. They lead 4-0 in the top of the 9th inning at Rogers Center. So at the moment, Minnesota is a game and a half out of the wild card. And if they hang on, they will be 1 game back of Houston, and Houston's having a really bad time. 0-2 on Mike Moustakas. It'll be Moustakas, Perez, and Rios in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Donna Holtgraver from Gardner. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Donna wins $1,100. And of course, if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Donna wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Dan, do you have any thoughts about the 4 wild card teams right now, 4 potentials? The Yankees, the Astros, the Twins, and the Angels. Any one team in particular scare you more than another?
New York, I think, would be the top pick there. No, really not. I don't think the Royals, of that group of teams you mentioned, I think the Royals probably would have a little more trouble matching up with New York. But I think they could handle the others. They have to play better than they played lately. We know that. It's a whole different season. We know that. And there's going to be some time off once you clinch the title. Now you don't have to worry about being a wild card like we did last year. So you're going to have some time off to kind of regroup, recharge, and it's a different feel, different look totally. And I don't think this little mini slump, September slump, really matters that much. A lot of arguments about go in hot, go in cold, go in lukewarm. You would rather go in playing pretty well, obviously, If you don't, you can take a little time off, recharge, and go at it.
Denny, how about just go in? Just getting there.
Well, sure.
We saw what happened last year.
Exactly right.
They got there.
It's a 10-team tournament. It's a crapshoot. Don't you agree?
Totally.
You could put all 10 teams in a hat, draw out 2, and those would be your 2 World Series teams. It doesn't matter what your record is going into the tournament.
Well, it's essentially what happened last year. I mean, sure, the Giants won their 3rd World Series in 5 years, but it was the first time ever that 2 teams with fewer than 90 wins got to the World Series. So, I mean,
right.
those very well could have been 2 names that you're pulling out of a hat. Elias is at 95 pitches. And Lloyd McClendon says that's enough, with right-hand hitters coming up: Perez, Rios, and Escobar. Danny Farquhar will come on to face Salvador Perez. Seattle leads 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. It wasn't a great night for Roenis Elias, but he made pitches when he needed to. And Denny, you think you've identified his most important pitch. First, here are the numbers on Danny Farquhar coming on to face Salvador Perez with 1 out.
Yeah, Elias was definitely on the ropes. He was having command problems. Fell behind Gordon with 2 men on. Royals had a chance to break things open. And here's the 3-0 pitch. And look at the swing that Alex gets. That's a pretty good swing right there. And you could kind of tell after the swing he was thinking, oh man, I'd like to see something like that again. He ended up walking, but Alex could have put a hurt on him right there.
Sal is 1 for 2 with a double. I'm going to say the second most important pitch tonight. A lot of room in right center field, and that ball's down. Salvador Perez has his second hit, and that brings a tying run to the plate with 1 out. For me, the second most important pitch was the one that he made to Robinson Cano, and Ventura ended up turning a bad decision into a heads-up play on a ball that he probably should have let roll foul, and then realized his only chance was an out at the plate. Thankfully, Salvador Perez was paying attention, but if Cano does something there in that inning, psychologically, that's just a big blow to the Royals, because that was 1/2 inning after what you just described, where the Royals were poised to have a big inning.
Yeah, normally, and you pointed this out several times this year, after the opponent scores, the Royals come right back and ram 3 or 4 runs right down their throats. So tables were turned a bit in Seattle's 5th inning.
Rios made some contact in the count 0-2.
Danny Farquhar, 5'9", 185 pounds. Lloyd McClendon's trusting him to help him get through this inning here. He's not a big guy, but he's got a good fastball. He'll go from 89 to 95 at times. Got a good slider.
Got on top of it. And Miller runs it down. A lot of overspin on that ball, and it didn't carry.
Too much hang time.
So 2 down to Alcides Escobar. You know, before we let you go, Den, Hud and I have been talking about this, and you were saying that you're not very concerned with this Royals slide. This feels to me like a player who's coming up on a milestone, and everyone's just hanging on every movement for that next hit or that next home run, or you know, the next victory if it's a pitcher, or the next save. And it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But when it's going to happen puts a lot of pressure on the individual. And I just feel like when the Royals are done with the Central Division, there's going to be a collective exhale, and they're going to go back to playing the way they have most of the year.
I think you guys are exactly right. But you also must consider it's a totally different mindset here on September the 23rd than it was last year on September the 23rd, because as Hud pointed out a few minutes ago, they were just happy to get in the playoffs. That was going to be a successful year. After 29 years, hey, the Royals are in the playoffs. Now they're in charge, and it's a totally different feel.
Come on, Salvi.
Mike Jersley is going to hold him. And it was the right call, but it sets up something the Royals have been struggling with lately, and that's driving in runners in scoring position. And Salvador Perez was favoring his right knee after rounding third base.
And he slipped. He was planning on scoring. He wanted to. Now Escobar, great job on a pitch that was way in on him to pull those hands in and find that double down that line. Salvi was coming hard. Jersh put the brakes on him, and he slipped and went down. And I think he just got a little strawberry on that left knee. I hope that's all it is.
I said right knee. I thought he was favoring the right knee, but he skidded on the left knee. Royals are 0 for 6 tonight with runners in scoring position. They've had their chances. They have stranded 7. And here's another chance for Alex to maybe make up for that pitch that he missed 2 innings ago.
And I'll bet you he remembers that.
The number that stands out more than any other during the slide is team ERA. But right behind that is the Royals just aren't getting those big hits with 2 outs and runners in scoring position like they have been all summer.
5 months of big hits with 2 outs.
That's Rick Waits, Mariners pitching coach. Alcides Escobar was one of the players to watch at DraftKings.com. 1 for 2 with a double and a walk tonight. Corey Kluber also on the list, but he's given up 4 runs in fewer than 4 innings.
Here's an at-bat to watch.
He got a slider right under Alex's bat. Alex is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Slider, cutter, whatever it was located perfectly.
And chopped out to Cano. In 6 innings, the Royals have left 9 on base. Thank you, Denny.
You're welcome, guys.
At the end of 6, it's 3-1 Seattle. Royals baseball is brought to you by AT Uverse high-speed internet. The Uverse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And the Royals are hoping for home field advantage, as there is no place like home. And the Royals need a win tonight, or their home field advantage will be a half game over the Blue Jays. Toronto has defeated the Yankees tonight. Ryan Madson in relief of Yordano Ventura. He'll get the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the 7th inning. It was a 4-0 Toronto victory over the Yankees. And I'm sure the Blue Jays would love to have home field advantage throughout the postseason. But at the moment, their concern is fighting off New York and just winning their division. And by winning tonight, the Blue Jays are back out to a 3.5 game lead over New York.
Yep. It's touch and go this time of year. Orioles got to make their way by getting some hits, some big ones, with runners out there. Matson, good fastball, 90 to 96, 97, low 90s cutter, overhand. No, he didn't have the overhand curve. He's got a changeup. That one right there is a beauty. That's confusing him with Hochevar. And Wade Davis both have those big curveballs, but Matson, he has one, but he never uses it. And you don't need it when you have that great changeup to righties or lefties.
Into the dugout sweep. And a lot of thumbs up and fist pumps in there. It's fun to sit that close, but you have got to pay attention to the game. Miller's 1 for 2. Out to Alex in left field. The Royals Charities 2016 Braden's Hope calendar, featuring 12 Royals players, manager Ned Yost, and 12 children fighting cancer. This special calendar can be purchased for just $10 at royals.com/calendar. All proceeds benefit Braden's Hope for childhood cancer. Jesus Sucre. He is grounded to second and grounded out to short. Cano. Seattle scored all 3 runs in the 5th inning, and all with 2 outs. Ketel Marte drove in 2. Nelson Cruz drove in 1. And now 3-0. Sucre. Now to Escobar. Royals infield has been busy tonight. 2 down. Well, we heard a lot about Ketel Marte when this series began, and now we've seen why the Mariners are so excited about this 21-year-old shortstop. He turned in our Jeep drive of the game with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Yeah, I almost thought that was a changeup, the way he was able to get out in front and hit that, but that was 97 down off his shoe tops and just stroked it perfectly. I mean, and he wanted more than a triple.
Fastball by him. Madsen cranking it up there to 97.
Now there's a guy, Madsen, who took advantage of that rest that Ned gave him. Would he give him 2-3 weeks off? Seemed like it. We didn't see him for a while. He got some time to rest. You know, it's his first full season back. He's done an excellent job. Changeup's a beauty.
Changeup. 1-2. We discussed this last night. There is the thrill of being in the big leagues for the first time, and then there's the thrill of playing like a big leaguer in front of your boyhood idol. Marte is doing all this in front of Robinson Cano, and that's who he idolized going up in the Dominican Republic. Madsen gives him a bad time with his changeup. 3 up, 3 down. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals need to turn some base runners into runs. They are down 3-1.
Lead the Royals all the way from London to the Cape. Panera takes us around the league. LA, huge win earlier today. Toronto shuts out New York. Minnesota getting it done against Corey Kluber. And our Mazda game break will take us to Toronto. Osuna on the mound, Pilar with the catch, and that was the final out. It was a big win last night for the Yankees, and certainly a great battle. But in the end, guys, you see the Blue Jays with a nice lead once again in that division. Boulevard Royals Live coming up after the game. We'll have Jeff Montgomery talk about the night of Yordan Ventura. First quality start for him in his last 4. No run support, though, to this point. We'll talk about missed opportunities and hopefully some opportunities capitalized in the final few innings. We'll hear from Ned Yost and get you ready for tomorrow's series finale with Johnny Cueto on the hill.
Thank you, Joel. James Jones is now in center field, taking over for Brad Miller. Zobrist, Farquhar makes a play, lollipops it over to first. Over to the new first baseman, Logan Morrison, the Kansas City kid.
3 changeups in a row. Farquhar won't throw him against righties, but he did to Zobrist.
As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KC Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it featured in an upcoming broadcast. Thank you, Michelle. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Slider is outside to Lorenzo Cain. 0 for 3 tonight. His last out was a line drive to center field. Big difference in the game tonight is runners left on base. Both teams have the same hits, 6. Seattle leads 3-1. The Mariners have left 4 on base. The Royals have left 9 on base. Line to center. Jones was playing shallow, and it's over his head. Cain will stop at second base with a 1-out double.
Boy, that's a nice smooth swing by Lorenzo Cain. Fastball, didn't try to do too much with it, stayed in the large part of the field, and you get a lot of base hits that way. Jones had no chance. Ball was hit too hard.
And with 1 out and Eric Hosmer coming up, Lloyd McClendon comes out. And he'll bring in a lefty, Joe Beimel, to face Eric Hosmer.
Likes to scare hitters, but at this particular time in this game, there's no fear to Beimel, especially from Haas or Morales on deck.
He had a bigger beard when we were in Seattle, didn't he?
It's been a while ago. I have a hard time remembering last night, but although last night I erased it in my mind completely.
I think I declared him the most frightening looking major league player when we were in Seattle.
Well, he's a sinker, slider, curve, changeup guy. 88 to 91.
Strike to Hosmer. Does he look like he is more bent over at the waist at the plate lately? There's a big number tonight. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Talking about Hosmer. He looks like he's a little more crouched than normal.
He does. He's got a little bit more lean on his upper body over the plate. I agree with you. Bimel's given up a 261 average to left-handers. 4 home runs. Hosmer hitting 280 off of lefties. I like this matchup. He's got to give him something good to hit.
Base hit center field. Kane will be waved home. It is 3-2. Hosmer drives in his 86th. That gives the Royals and the crowd a big lift.
Best swing of the night, Haas on Elias, the left-hander who started this game, was trying to pull him, and then now he's able to come through after that Kane double by keeping his hands in the middle and just going with it right up the middle. Biggest part of the yard, had enough elevation to get over Marte's head. That's a clutch hit. They need a few more of those. Renzo did a nice job of waiting, making sure that he didn't catch it and double him up.
He has a very good move, and he picked off Hosmer.
Haas is saying, how about the balk? Where's his step over? Oh, that was an excellent pickoff. Oh, man, you know,
I don't know.
His knee looked like it crossed that plane, and he looked home, and that's what really gets the job done. Logan Morrison with a good tag right on his elbow.
Another pitching change. So Bimal gives up an RBI single, but he gets an out on the bases with a pickoff. This is Carson Smith into the game for Seattle. October means baseball, and FS1 continues to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Boy, that was very close to a balk.
Sure was. Now see how that leg crosses that plane, that rubber, and then you know, then he comes over. It was the head move, good head movement on the fake there, and Hosman, he tagged him out. He looked, he says, hey, look. Anyway, moving on, Carson Smith, 91-97 with a power sinker. He's got a good slider. Got a little sidearm action.
One and two on Morales. Kind of an interesting move because we've seen so many teams with the combination of Hosmer, Morales, and Moustakas bring on a lefty to face Hosmer, make Morales bat right-handed, and then leave the lefty in there for Moustakas. But it works. Smith comes on and strikes out Morales. The Royals get one run back, and now at the end of 7, it's 3-2 Seattle. One in the top of the 8th inning, and we had back in the 6th inning we showed you Salvador Perez rounding third base and holding, and went down awkwardly and appeared to land heavy or maybe twist his left knee. So if we get any information, we'll pass it along. Kelvin Herrera will pitch the top of the 8th.
Let's check out Salvi. Jersh has the brakes on. Oh. Hard to tell, although he grimaced after that.
So it's Herrera and Ventura in the top of the 8th inning. Seattle has Kyle Seager, Nelson Cruz, and Robinson Cano. Seager is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Great fastball, excellent changeup. He'll throw some occasional sliders.
Right to Escobar. One down.
You know, I like to talk to Jeff Montgomery about that pickoff to Hosmer. To me, it looked like Beimel crossed the plane of the rubber and therefore has to go home. Okay, you see his knee, it crossed way over the rubber, in my opinion. Okay, and now he looks home, and and that's a balk. Haas hadn't even moved yet. Monty, what do you think?
Hud, I'm in agreement there. It looked like Biamo definitely made that move where he crossed that imaginary line that goes between the pitcher's rubber and first base, and once he does that, he's obligated to get a home plate, or it's deceiving the runner and it's a balk.
Well, he was deceptive.
Pat Hoberg is the first base umpire.
Pat has had as good a view as anybody.
Guys, I think the balk call is one of the most difficult ones for umpires. It's difficult for players even oftentimes to interpret exactly, you know, what's going on, what's not. I know I balked a number of times and never got called, but it's something that sometimes catches the umpires even off guard because they're doing something that's sometimes unordinary. And yes, as a pitcher, you try to do everything you can to deceive hitters, and sometimes you try to do everything you can do to deceive runners.
I think it's the most confusing rule in the rule book, where the actual wording makes very little sense. Wow, where's that pitch? 2 balls and 1 strike. And here's what I mean, guys. The rule book says, as Monty said, once he gets to or crosses the plane, he's obligated to come to home plate, because as Monty said, that's what the rule book says, he's deceiving the runner. Well, how about looking at home plate and throwing to first base? That's not deceiving the runner. And yet if Kelvin Herrera were to come set right now and have one little slight hitch with his shoulder, that would be a balk. Right. And how, if a runner was on, how would that be deceiving the runner? I mean, if that's not deceiving the runner right there, I don't know what is.
Well, they've been doing that with their head, those left-handers, for years, and that really gets a lot of hitters. Just that head movement, looking at home, doubling up the looks, going over to first base, looking at you, and then next one they'll go home and look. You know, it's.
They're calling it a left lateral knee contusion for Salvador Perez. That's why Drew Butera has taken over here in the top of the 8th inning. Fastball at 100, and Herrera strikes out Nelson Cruz. 2 down in the 8th inning. And Royals Vice President Mike Swanson making the announcement over the internal public address system here in our booth that it was for precautionary reasons.
Power on power. You love that confrontation, and Herrera won. He just said, here it is, hit it if you can. When you have that kind of fastball, you can miss right over the middle of the plate and blow it by hitters. One of the values that Herrera and several other Royal relievers have. The ability to blow guys away and get key strikeouts late in games.
Herrera had Cano convinced he was going to get a first pitch fastball, and he threw him a changeup. Cano is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Check swing, called strike, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, now he's thinking, well, what's he going to throw me now? I got to gear up on his fastball, or I'll never hit it if I'm looking for his changeup. So, changeup, fastball, heater away.
Cano, by the way, is 1 hit shy of 2,000 for his career. Entered the series 3 shy, and then he hit home runs in his first 2 at-bats last night. He is 0 for 6 since. One and 2.
Well, he's going to get it. Hopefully he gets it in Anaheim, California. That's where they're heading next. Play the Angels.
Still 1 and 2. When he gets it, he'll become the 14th player in Major League history to reach that milestone in 11 seasons or fewer. And there it is. 2,000 career hits for Robinson Cano. So that ball will come out of the game and go on Robinson Cano's mantle. And again, just the 14th player in Major League history to reach 2,000 hits in 11 seasons or fewer. And now he's at first with 2 down to Franklin Gutierrez.
Did you know, Ryan, there's only one other human being, well, not human being, I'll say there's 2, but one of them is in the house tonight that has over 2,000 hits. Besides George.
Oh. Edgar Martinez?
Oh. I'm through with you.
Now I'm just naming the human beings.
No, you're right.
Okay. I mean, it was bark at the park last night. Were there any dogs that had over 2,000?
No,
okay.
But you know what? I forgot about Edgar.
Okay.
There's George and Edgar and one other guy. Okay. Trying to get him on camera if we can.
Jason Kendall.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. And did you know that he had...
Are we talking about human beings now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He had more hits than Yogi Berra.
Alex is going to cut that ball off, and Cano will stop at second base. And 2 outs. The Mariners have back-to-back hits. And now Gutierrez will come out for a pinch runner. That is Stephan Romero.
Jason Kendall had 2,195 hits. Yogi had 2,150. So by my addition and subtraction, which is not very good, I have 45 more hits Kendall had than Yogi. And Jason was here all night, and I've been trying to get him on camera to give him a little bit of love for having more hits than the great Yogi Berra, but we couldn't come through.
He's low profile.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure Jason knew that. I mentioned that to him before the game. He was hitting fungos. He was busy working. And he just turned and gave me a big old smile. Proud. Congratulations, Robinson Cano.
And now Seth Smith. The Royals are down by 1. Top of the 8th inning. Cano's at second. Romero's at first. Outside for ball 1.
You know, it's hard to get anything by you. I thought I was going to have you stumped, but you know what?
You were
right.
talking about Edgar Martinez all night.
Well, you know, Edgar was a great hitter. There's no question. But Edgar had 2,247. So he had more.
Which is a good number for a human being.
It's a great number for anybody that played big league ball and got that many hits.
1,200 RBIs. He was similar to Miguel Cabrera when it came to RBI situations. Yeah, he hit his share of home runs.
See how he stayed?
This is a highlight of one here.
See how he stayed inside the ball there?
He had his share of 3-run doubles, but when there was an RBI out there, and we were talking about this about Cabrera over the weekend, how many runs that Cabrera drove in with a single, just making things simple, or a ground ball and getting a runner home, a sac fly and getting a runner home. Edgar Martinez, and this is just since I've been broadcasting games, but He was the guy you wanted at the plate with a runner at third base and less than 2 outs.
He would give the defense nightmares. Forget about the pitcher. We try to defend him. Be a runner at second base and nobody out, and I'd be playing second base. I'd move over to the hole because I knew he was going to hit it there. And you know where he'd hit it? Just to my left a little bit more. Just a very good situational hitter. And talking with him before the game about his approach as a hitting coach, he says the same thing. It's all about your approach, your focus, and the situation that comes to the when you come up to the plate. He goes, I don't try to work with the guys, mechanically, because they're already big leaguers. I just talk about the mental aspect of the game, a lot like Dale Sweeney and most major league hitting coaches. Approach, using the big part of the field.
Right field. Rios is there. And that'll do it. The Mariners get a pair of 2-out singles. Herrera pitches a scoreless 8. And now the Royals down to their last 6 outs on offense. They are down by 1. Elias, but he got out of it. Here are the sprint cuts of the game. Elias struck out 6 in 5 1/3 innings.
Had the Royals guessing. Executed his pitches. Dale Swain was right. Didn't throw as many fastballs this time as he did in June when they saw him.
Carson Smith struck out Morales to end the bottom of the 7th inning. He stays on for Moustakas, Butera, and Rios. Stephan Romero ran for Gutierrez in the top of the 8th inning, so he stays in left field. That is pulled just foul.
That's just what Moose wanted. Go foul. Have another chance. Carson Smith, hard sinking power sinker. It's 91 to 97. Good little slider. And it's not going to get any easier here on out. Wilhelmsen's their closer. Tom Wilhelmsen. He's been good.
Smith actually leads the team with 13 saves. And when we saw Seattle in June, the Mariners had just demoted Fernando Rodney and named Carson Smith as the closer. And talking with people with the Mariners, if there was one area that really kind of torpedoed their season, it was their bullpen. And you really can't hang a season on one guy, but Fernando Rodney's struggles really put the entire bullpen in disarray. And now it's in good shape. Oh, painful. But the tying run is on to begin the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, you know, you got to look over there and see who's coming out. And it's going to be Gerard Dyson. So Moustakas getting hit by a pitch for the 13th time can turn into a rally for the Royals late, especially with the weapons that Ned Yost has on that bench. Dyson's one of them and Terrence Gore's the other. Way to take one for the team, Moose.
And Ventura gets the bunt down. Sucre throws him out. Dyson moves up to second.
Playing it safe. Instead of having Gerard Dyson steal the base and bunt him to third, they went with a traditional sacrifice bunt. Now Gerard Dyson, if Cano doesn't hold him close, he'll rip off third.
Perhaps Rios' last chance to extend his hitting streak. And in his last chance to extend his hitting streak last night, he came through with a double.
And a long double. Dead center field. Had a good rip on the slider there.
Dyson saw that all the way.
All right, with Cano over there, anything like this can get the job done. Cano doesn't have the greatest of range to his left.
Got the call. No balls, 2 strikes.
Couple sliders to a hot hitter.
So far tonight, the Royals are 1 for 8 with a runner in scoring position. And I thought Dyson might try and steal third with the first 2 pitches of Rios for that very reason. You can either look at it as the Royals are due or make it easier on Rios and get to third with 1 out.
Dyson, you know, 2 strikes or not, he looks like he wants to steal third. Now sometimes that works, especially if there's an errant throw. But Rios has to do a good job of focusing here. 2 strikes or 0-2 may not get anything good to hit, but you can't get distracted by what's going on at second base. Got to really focus on that release point.
Not running, and in the dirt. Dyson took a step and then realized that Sucre kept the ball very close to him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yep, slider. That's 3 sliders in a row. Wasn't going to give him anything too good. Dyson thought about it, and it would have been a perfect opportunity for him, but it's all right.
Now Dyson runs. Rios strikes out. And Dyson is safe at third. There are 2 down.
Throw by Sucre was up. And just reading Dyson's body language, looked like he wanted to go. That throw wasn't high enough to get by him. Kept his foot on that bag. Now it's up to Escobar.
Haven't seen that in a while. Escobar thinking about bunting for a base hit. Alcides Escobar in the 6th inning hit this double against Danny Farquhar, and on the same play Salvador Perez banged his left knee and left with a lateral left knee contusion. Outside 2-0.
Now Carson Smith does have 6 wild pitches. That's second on the team behind Felix Hernandez that has 8.
And has a lot more innings than Carson Smith does.
Right. So Carson Smith got to be alive for one to bounce.
Alex Gordon is on deck.
Is it possible that Escobar could walk twice in one game? If he does, he's locking in.
And possibly walk twice, both times on just 4 pitches. And he does.
25th and 26th walk on the season. Escobar, he's hard to walk, but man, I'll tell you, that's going to help lock him in.
And it looks like Lloyd McClendon might go to his closer for a 4-out save. Nope. Second time tonight that McClendon has made the first trip to the mound instead of his pitching coach Rick Waits. And Wilhelmsen, he's warmed up and appears to be ready to go.
Big opportunity here.
Well, if you're wondering who is due for a big hit, who is most due for a big hit, it's Alex Gordon. He is 0 for his last 21. Slider for a strike.
Oh, that's a good spot right there. We're down and didn't have to be, but it's called. Drake having a hard time being consistent tonight.
Wow. How big is the plate?
Wow, I don't understand. Said flip a coin. Boy, that's just a tough, making it tough on Alex right here. Now he's going to waste a pitch. Maybe he bounces one.
Escobar takes off. So now the go-ahead run is in scoring position. It's 1-2 on Alex. Number 15 for Escobar.
The great Yogi Berra said, I can't think and hit at the same time. So Alex, he can take a page from Yogi. Just go up there and react to anything that's looks pretty good. Get the job done. Oh.
Smith gets through the bottom of the 8th inning. He hit a batter, he walked a batter. The Royals stole 2 bases, but come up empty. So Chesler Cuthbert takes over at third, and with Dyson going to center, Lorenzo Cain shifts over to right field. And while we're talking about changes on the mound is Luke Hochevar. He'll get Logan Morrison, James Jones, and Jesus Sucre. Morrison entered the game on defense at first base in the 7th inning. This is his first plate appearance. Born in Kansas City. His father was in the Coast Guard, so he also spent part of his childhood in North Carolina and Louisiana. He attended Maple Woods, where he was drafted by the Marlins in the 22nd round in 2005. That was the same community college that produced Albert Pujols. Maple Woods Community College. 1 ball and 1 strike on Logan Morrison.
Got to be careful with this big lefty. He's got 16 homers. Hoch has that nice big overhand curveball, fastball, cutter. Go 90 to 96.
Still 1-2. I mentioned the 16 home runs. If there is a bucket list item for Logan Morrison, it is hitting a home run in the fountains at Kauffman Stadium. Last year he homered here at Kauffman Stadium against James Shields, and growing up a Royals fan, George Brett and Kevin Seitzer were his favorite players. The moment he dreamed of more than any other was hitting a home run into the water. 2-2.
If the Royals had a 5-run lead right now, you'd say go ahead.
Right. Well, maybe he got a chance to get it out of his system during batting practice. Does that count?
Nope.
3-2. Strike 3 over the inside. Morrison thought it was ball 4. The strike zone has been a mystery at times tonight. Good start for Hochevar as he strikes out the leadoff man.
Yeah, well, you just never know. That pitch has been called a ball and a strike tonight.
Royals and Hochevar hoping to keep the deficit at 1 for Zobrist, Cain, and Hosmer in the bottom of the 9th. And if anybody gets on, Kendrys Morales. And they'll have to do it against Tom Wilhelmsen.
Since they gave him that role as a closer, he's been good. He's 12 for his last 12.
Jones pulls it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jones hits for the first time. Like Logan Morrison, he entered the game in the 7th inning for defense, taking over in center field for Brad Miller. Talking about plays of the game, and the Mariners got all 3 runs in the 5th inning, and with 2 outs, the big hit was Marte's triple on a pitch that was about an inch off the dirt, and he went down and just golfed it into right center field. And then 2 batters later, Cruz singled in a run. But there was another big play in that inning, and talking about Brad Miller, this is his spot in the order. Remember that little dribbler out in front of the mound, and Ventura bobbled it. It was ruled a base hit. But that kind of got the inning started for the Mariners, and if the Royals got an out on that play, then Marte never gets a chance to come to the plate and hit his 2-run triple. That was close. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Hosmer saved a run. Now there's Trumbo. You see him at second base. If he throws that ball down the line, there's a lot of room out there in right field. Trumbo could have come around and scored, but Hosmer put his body in the way of it.
Little bloop. Escobar is out. He's got it. We know that guy.
There he is. Nice break. I thought that had Doinker written all over it. Escobar on the dead run. Put his glove out there and just timed it perfectly. Nice.
Haven't seen a play like that in a while, but that gave the Royals a lift. And let's see if Hochevar can take care of Sucre and get the Royals back into the dugout.
That cutter's a beauty.
Sucre is 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. One and 2. Ventura went 6. He gave up all 3 runs. Madsen pitched the 7th. Herrera pitched the 8th. And Hochevar 1 strike away from a scoreless 9th inning. Two and 2.
3 straight cutters in the curve.
Full count with Marte on deck. And Marte will get a chance to hit.
Well, Hoch didn't want to do that. I thought he might challenge him with a fastball down around the knees. He missed by a mile.
Three more hits for Marte after getting 2 hits last night, and that triple in the 5th inning was the big hit. Came with 2 outs, 2 on. And then 2 batters after that. Cruz drove in a run. And for a strike to Marte. Oh and 2. Breaking ball chopped out to Zobrist. Hochevar does his part. Last call for the Royals. Zobrist 1 for 3 with a double. Kane 1 for 4 with a double. Hosmer 1 for 4 with an RBI. All right, Royals down by 1, bottom of the 9th inning, and going up against one of the toughest pitchers in the American League lately. Tom Wilhelmsen will get Ben Zobrist, Lorenzo Cain, and Eric Hosmer. I told you he is 12 out of 12 in save opportunities, and in his last 13 appearances he has pitched 14 1/3 innings and is not allowed a run.
Okay, but I see that ERA sitting there at 3.14. Somebody's got him, and they can get him again. He's got to throw strikes, get that over the plate. Now he does throw 98, and he's got a big 12-6 curveball. Heavy sink to that fastball too, so you're gonna have to try to find a hole.
Zobrist has 2 hits against Wilhelmsen. Both are extra base hits. And he has an extra base hit tonight. He has a first inning double. Royals have had base runners all over the place tonight. They have only gone down 1, 2, 3 once. There's a good start. Ball 1 to Zobrist.
Boy, this game really close to getting a man on base here. Oh.
Doing his part, he didn't try and get out of the way.
Well, and if you acted there and you act like it hit you, he might have got the base there.
2-0. Fastball at 96. 2-1 from Wilhelmsen to Zobrist. Big number tonight is not the score, 3-2. The big number tonight is the Royals have left 11 runners on base. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now Zobrist talking to himself now. Didn't have to be.
Changeup pulled foul. Royals left 1 in the first inning. They left 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth. That was the most painful inning. 1, 2, 3 in the fifth. They left 2 in the sixth and 2 in the eighth. Cano will get Zobrist for out number 1.
Okay, went back-to-back changeups.
Lorenzo doubled in the 7th inning and scored the Royals' second run. Hosmer drove him in. There's his fan club out in right center field. Up the middle, and the tying run is on with 1 out.
Lorenzo Cain staying in the large part of the field tonight with both of his hits. Like that, going right back up the mound. Good thing it didn't hit off of Wilhelmsen. Those ladies are happy now. But they'll be even more happy if we can get a double now. Oh, it almost looked like it hit his glove.
I think it did. If not his wrist.
Oh, man, that could have kicked to Cano so easily.
One on, 1 out for Hosmer. Two teams the Royals have been keeping an eye on, or at least we've been keeping an eye on. Toronto and Minnesota, they have both won. Toronto won 4-0 over New York. Minnesota won 4-2 over Cleveland. Hosmer takes low, 1 ball and no strikes.
Okay, Will Helmsley, now you can steal a base off of him. Checking out the numbers on him. Base stealers are successful in his career 36 out of 39 times.
And Kane has 28 this year. Not going. And now 2-0.
Yeah, Will Helmsley, he knows that he's got to keep that hard sinker down low. That's for sure. He didn't want to give Hosmer anything belt high. But he's really concentrating on keeping it down. We haven't seen the big curve, but we've seen that changeup. So he's going fastball, changeup.
Hosmer, ground ball, base hit left field. Romero was deep, and Kane's going to dig for third. He is safe.
Bringing the crowd to life here at the K. That broken bat base hit to the opposite field was a beauty. That bat head snapped all the way in the back of the screen. Haas found the hole, and Lorenzo Cain said, all right, I can see it in front of me. Right, left fielder's deep. I'm going to challenge him. Yeah, it's all right in front of him there. Hit the inside part of the base, and it's off to the races. Good to see Lorenzo Cain changing gears on the bags. Lloyd McClellan going to have another meeting. Having a little strategy talk right here. You got Morales, who's a beast. They all know that. But Will Helmsley, with a good sinker, knows that Morales has hit into his share of double plays this year. So that's what he's hoping for here. Morales has grounded into 24 double plays, and he wants to keep that ball down. Morales, August 16th. He's done it before, and he can do it again to tie it up. This one walked him off. So just like that base hit that he got, and we just showed you on that walk-off, that's the approach he wants to have here. Unless he can get one elevated to pull, he wants to stay away from that rolling his hands over.
And that's a pitch that Will Helmsley wanted him to chase right there.
That's exactly what Lloyd was talking about on that mound.
Do you think about sending Hosmer? I mean, you brought up the career numbers, and a double play could end the game.
Yeah, I mean, Hosmer's not going anywhere with that lead.
2-0.
And, of course, he knows Gerard Dyson is on deck. Still a guy that can hurt you, but doesn't have the track record that Morales has.
Grounded foul. 2-1.
I'm with you, Rhino. You know, he's keeping that ball down, and Haas, I think, could rip off a bag pretty easily. And he's got 6 on the season. Stay out of that double play, but he's not getting a big lead at all.
And now 2-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Now do you send him?
I would. I'm not so sure that he's going to get another good pitch to hit anyway.
It's gonna be something down,
yeah,
right?
Obviously it is, and hopefully Morales doesn't get a little over anxious here. Although
Hosmer had a quick word with Rusty Kuntz before taking his lead. He's going, and that is ball 4. And now the spotlight shines on Gerard Dyson.
Well, Will Helmsen, he knew that who was on deck for sure. But Dyson, he'll be a real tough double play if he does hit the ball on the ground. Try to focus up. Focus up, look up in the zone here, because you know Will Helmsen, he's going to just throw that heavy sinker down low.
And now Gore, who is not the winning run. Hosmer's the winning run at second base, but Gore is going to run for Morales, so I guess in the event that there's a ground ball hit by Dyson to help break up that potential double play.
That's exactly why Ned's making this move here. You take your best bat out of the lineup, you know, for a reason, and that's why he's doing it. Get a good lead over there.
Down and away, and that almost got away from Sucre.
Yeah, and you know, with the infielders playing in, they know what they got to do. They got to get that out at home if they possibly can. Will Helmsen only has one wild pitch this year.
Got the call. Boy, the plate has been wide tonight. Now Dyson is angry with Rob Drake.
Well, you know, what you do as a hitter is you say, okay, if it's going to be strikes that are on the outer half or inner half, going to have to be hacking, especially with 2 strikes. You can't beat the umpire. You try to beat the pitcher.
2-1. Well, you really got to give both sides credit. Wilhelmsen has done a great job of keeping the ball down, but the Royals have done a better job of not swinging at the pitches down. If the Royals were over anxious in this inning, this game could be over. There's a pitch up, and Dyson fouls it away. And now 2-2. The runner at third, and the game is tied. Dyson comes through with a sacrifice fly. Hosmer goes to third. He represents the winning run.
Tough to get a ball airborne on Will Helmsen. But Dyson does the job. Got up underneath it. Moved Hosmer over to third base. Kane bringing the mail home from third base to tie this baby up. The fans here at the K, they are very vocal. They know what's at stake, and they want to get a W. Gerard, nice coming through there.
Christian Colon will bat for Drew Butera. Got an infield single in the 8th inning last night. Gore runs, and that's low for ball 1. Colon had 2 hits on Saturday, filling in for Alcides Escobar. He had 4 hits on Sunday. That was a new career high. And in his only at bat last night, he got a hit. High and inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Colon's a guy who uses the big part of the field well. He likes to go to the opposite field and up the middle. He'll only pull the ball if it's an off-speed pitch and it's up. So, like his chances here. Huge hole up the middle, by the way.
look at a strike. 2-1. Not a bad idea. Wilhelmsen's having a tough time throwing strikes.
Did it once, he'll get another one. May not be as elevated as that one was, though.
Down and in. 3-1.
Those have been, it's either a ball or a strike. You never know what you're going to get from Rob Drake tonight. My, oh my. He's going to come in there. You're going to give him, go ahead and take a rip. See if you can win it.
3-2. Well, part of your scouting report was Wilhelmsen's hammer, which means he has a really good curveball. He's not going to that pitch, and that was not a real good curveball.
No, that looked like a little slider, so he maybe doesn't have that pitch tonight. It wasn't working for him, but his changeup's pretty good. Cologne still hasn't swung the bat. There you go. Okay, now you're in the game. Now you've gauged your swing on his pitch, so you feel more comfortable as a hitter now. 3-2, it's more relaxed. Speaking of relaxed, those guys look relaxed. They don't look like they're stressing out.
Another foul ball. So now he's taking a swing at the fastball, and he's taking a swing at the breaking ball.
Yeah, but it's not the hammer that I expect. It's a hittable fastball. It's out over the plate.
And Cologne takes a walk. Wilhelmsen has walked 2 in the inning. And it brings up Cheslor Cuthbert for the first time tonight.
Well, you gotta love the Royals, how they're grinding through this one. They are pressuring, not giving up. Sure, they've left their share of runners on base and haven't gotten a big hit, but they have battled one of the hottest closers in baseball. Wilhelmsen was 12 for 12. Now he tagged the loss on him.
Way outside, ball 1. Well, a lot of the tension is gone as the Royals have tied the game in the 9th inning, but the Royals all night have been letting Seattle pitchers off the hook. Cuthbert, fly ball right field, and Seth Smith is there. The Royals get the run. Kane gets on with 1 out. Gerard Dyson gets him home with a sacrifice fly. Tom Wilhelmsen blows his first save of the year, and we head to extra innings. beef jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. Ned Yost going for all the marbles in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Royals tie the game. Francisco Pena takes over at catcher. So Ned Yost has used all 3 of his catchers tonight. Wade Davis comes on in a tie game in the top of the 10th. And the Royals are now without Morales, Moustakas, Perez, and Rios. Davis will pitch to Seager, Cruz, and Cano, right into the heart of the Mariners order. It's been a good night for the bullpen so far. Madsen, Herrera, and Hochevar have all chipped in with a scoreless inning. Kyle Seager is 0 for 3. He did reach in the 5th inning with a walk.
Oh, what a ball game.
Fastball at 95 for a strike.
Davis 90 to 97. Cuts that fastball in the low 90s. Nice overhand curveball.
And it's 0-2. Seager fouled it off of his ankle. So we found out before the game last night, Wade Davis is the Royals closer for the rest of the regular season and into the postseason. And Davis doesn't really need to get used to that role. Sometimes it's a big jump going from the 8th inning to the 9th inning, but Wade has 13 saves already this year.
Yeah, well, we in the media like to ask Ned about Davis and is he going to be comfortable in that role, and do you have to get him in there to get comfortable with it? And it's a no-brainer. Davis, he's got 13 saves out of 14. Of course, it's not a save opportunity here, but as far as getting used to that role, I don't see it. He'll be just fine.
Little pop up, easy play for Cuthbert, and he'll make the play in foul ground. Nelson Cruz is 1 for 4. He drove in the 3rd run for Seattle to give the Mariners a 3-1 lead way back in the 5th inning. Seattle has not scored since. The Royals scored 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 7th, and 1 in the 9th. And still, the Mariners have to feel pretty fortunate to still be playing. I'm sure they're frustrated. And Tom Wilhelmsen in particular frustrated that they gave up the lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. But the Royals have left 14 runners on base. I mean, this could have easily been a Royals 7-3 victory.
Yeah, that's one shy of a season high by the Royals.
Cruz hits it right to Zobrist.
Right man, right spot.
And now Robinson Cano with 2 down. Cano is 1 for 4, but that was a big hit for him in the 8th inning. His single to left field was career hit number 2,000. Low for ball 1. So those at bats were against Wade Davis when Davis was a starter. Davis did have 1 year in Tampa Bay where he pitched out of the bullpen, but for the most part a starter, and he's a different pitcher now than he was then. Logan Kensing, a right-hander, warms up in the Mariners bullpen. The Royals will have Escobar, Gordon, Zobrist. 2-1. Two and two. A couple of times tonight, Cano has taken a big swing and then reached back and grabbed his right side, which could mean something, and it could mean absolutely nothing. That was a very something might be hurting on my right side type of a swing.
I thought I saw a quick pitch from Davis.
There he goes again.
Yeah.
Nasty cutter inside. 3-2. Wade Davis can get anybody out. And yet Cano, the great hitter, 19 home runs, and waiting on deck is Stephan Romero. So it's a pretty big drop off from Cano to the next hitter. Ground ball to first. Tough hop. Hosmer handles it to Davis, who goes up to get it. And Wade Davis has a Wade Davis top of the 10th inning.
That's right. Waiter, check please.
For most of the night, it's been a frustrating night. The Royals have left 14 runners on base. They have out-hit Seattle 10-8. But the Royals, down to their last inning, they came through, tied the game at 3. Wade Davis pitched a scoreless top of the 10th. And here comes Escobar, Gordon, and Zobrist to face right-hander Logan Kensing, who has an ERA, that's interesting, over 5 with an opponent's batting average of 162, and typically you go directly to walks when you have a high ERA and a low opponent's batting average, and he has walked 6 in 10 2/3 innings.
There you go. Kensing, he's got a fastball, slider, and a changeup. I don't think he's overpowering. I think his slider's his best pitch. Young guy. I don't think he's going to be overpowering with his fastball. See if Escobar pulls out a bunt, get on base. Haven't seen him get a bunt hit in a while. Seager, he's in back of the bag at third base. He's not in. Let's see if he creeps in. Escobar, like I said, haven't seen him do a bunt base hit in a while, but he certainly has that ability.
Slider for strike one. The only Royals who have faced Logan Kinsing: Johnny Gomes has 3 at-bats, Alex Gordon has 2 at-bats, Omar Infante has 4 at-bats, and Ben Zobrist has 1 at-bat. Taking a shot at the other way, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
It's a pretty good fastball at 93.
Kinsing has pitched for the Marlins, the Nationals, and the Rockies. Good take by Escobar. Rally caps. Rally anythings tonight as the Royals are trying to get their magic number down to 2. Minnesota has 1 and Toronto has 1. So the Royals need a win tonight to keep that advantage for best record in the league at a game and a half. And a win to get that magic number down to 2. Grounded foul outside of third base.
Outfielders are pretty deep.
Blasted into left center field. It is caught at the wall by Romero.
And that's why they were deep. Playing no doubles. Great try. Solid contact.
They even got a little help from the wind, which was blowing in that direction.
Oh, he got him a cookie on the inner half, too. That's as good as we've seen Escobar put a charge into one in a while. Fans were excited about that one.
David Rollins, a lefty, comes on for Alex Gordon. 1 down, bottom of the 10th. With Logan Kinsing, they have no past experience with David Rollins. makes his 19th appearance with frightening numbers if you're a Mariners fan. And they'll get Alex Gordon with 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 10th. And starts him off with a slider for a strike.
Yep, he's got a fastball, slider, and a changeup. He'll mix in.
Back with another slider, and it's 0-2. Alex is 0 for 4 tonight with a walk, and now hitless in his last 22 at bats. 1 ball and 2 strikes. David Rollins. And how many guys can you say this about? He has been drafted 4 times in his career. Going the other way. Long run again for Romero. That is a foul ball off the side wall.
They're really testing Romero out there in left field. It's a little better swing there from Alex. Not trying to pull off the ball. I think left field. Probably some more sliders coming.
Fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rollins was drafted by the Dodgers out of high school, by the Mariners out of junior college, by the Mariners again out of junior college, and then after a 3rd year of junior college, he signed with the Blue Jays. So the Mariners have wanted him. There's a base hit into center field. And at the right time, Alex puts an end to the 0 for 22. He is on with 1 out, representing the winning run in the bottom of the 10th.
And just a nice, easy swing. I could tell that ball he hit down the line foul, left to left field. That was good. It told me he's not thinking about pulling. And then that ball was left out of the middle of the plate. A good, level, easy swing there by Alex, just trying to get on base.
I was watching him in the on-deck circle, Hud. He took a few swings with only his top hand. He took his bottom hand off the bat. He was only taking swings with his top hand.
I like that. He's been bottom hand dominant. He's been looping the ball. He's swinging under everything.
Sober's showing bunt, and that hit him on the foot. That hit him twice. Got him on the left foot and then inside of the right leg.
Had to know Lloyd McClendon wasn't going to leave him in there against Lorenzo Cain, who's hitting .340 off of lefties.
Tony Zick, who pitched last night, comes on for Seattle. Gordon. Alex, with 1 out, single to center, putting an end to an 0 for 22, which tied his career high. And perfect timing for that, as that sets up the winning run in scoring position with 1 out. Ben Zobrist was hit by a pitch. And the Mariners bring on their 8th pitcher, Tony Zick, to face last year's ALCS MVP, Lorenzo Cain. And Tony Zick, the Royals saw him last night. He pitched the 8th inning. He did not face Lorenzo Cain. He pitched a scoreless inning and gave up an unearned run. Or he pitched 1 inning and he gave up an unearned run.
Yep. Look for that fastball out over the middle. Stay in the big part of the field. Outfielders are shallow now.
Inside.
He's got a nice fastball. Nice, pretty good slider. Lorenzo's 2 hits tonight have been right up the middle and to the right side.
And into right field. Orlando hesitated. They're going to wave him home. Here's the play at the plate. Safe. And the magic number is 2. It's a relief more than anything else. And with the right combination tomorrow, a Royals win and a Minnesota loss, and the Royals are on the edge of being division champs.
Oh, I'm telling you what, the way that they grinded and they really pressured, but they couldn't get the big hit all night until late. What a nice chip shot by Lorenzo Cain, who hit that low Cain triangle. Hadn't seen a low Cain triangle shot in a while, and it was a beauty. Ed Yost pulled all the right punches tonight. He was able to guide his team to their 6th walk-off. That's a beautiful stroke right there. Nice and easy. Paulo, he got a late break, but that speed is what did it. Tremendous weapons Ned Yost has off that bench with those speed guys. Locate says, bring it on.
And after surviving the scrum, he's standing by with Joel.
Well, Lorenzo Cain is a tough guy. You got to survive that scrum. I don't see Salvi in the dugout. He left earlier, so we'll see if you're safe or not. Bottom line, tell us about the walk-off. Here comes Drew. Too many guys in there to take care of it, but you know what? It's been a while. How good did that feel?
Oh, it felt great. Like I said, it felt good to get a walk-off win there.
All right, take us through the at-bat there. They're changing pitchers left and right. What's the thought process?
Like I said, just trying to stay up in the middle, stay with my approach, line drive in the middle. He threw me a slider there, and just put a good swing on it and got through for a hit for me.
How big is this one for you guys? Just a frustrating night, a lot left on base. In the end, you walk away with a win and a magic number now of 2.
That's nice. Definitely need to get it down to 0 as soon as possible. Got to be even better. But I come out here tomorrow and be ready to go.
Are you guys feeling any pressure with it? You know you're heading to the postseason, but I also know you guys want to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, most definitely. No pressure at all in the clubhouse. Very laid-back group. Like I say, we just want to get back to the postseason and get this thing started.
As it starts coming around to you in the lineup there, and you look at it, Alex Gordon, he gets the big hit for you, and then the hit by pitch. Are you feeling pretty good about the chances, the pressure maybe shifting over to the Mariners at that point?
Most definitely. Definitely a total team effort tonight. Gordo stepped up, got a big knock. Like I say, Zobrist got hit in the foot, and I was able to come through and hit a ball up the middle. So definitely nice to have.
Final thing, Lorenzo Cain started feeling that playoff atmosphere here late in the game as you tied it in the 9th and won it in the 10th. We're getting closer to October. It's the final regular season homestand. So what does that do for you?
Definitely got to get ready to go. I know the fans going to show up when it's that time. So like I say, it's going to be exciting. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's make another run.
A walk-off winner. Lorenzo, congratulations.
All right, thanks for having me.
He's got water or Gatorade or whatever it is dripping from the beard, the jersey, all as well in the Royals win.
Well, all night, the Royals have been letting Seattle pitchers off the hook. But when it counted, the Royals got one in the 9th, and they get one in the 10th to win it.